Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, nakupenda sana. We know that when we hear that sound, we are with us here at the African Experience. This is your host, Hlamingwenya. I'm not alone. I'm going together with my co-host, MABUNDA. Oh, we are so excited, today. We know that in South Africa, the month of June is what we call the Youth Month. What is the better way of actually starting the month without really talking to the young people? Mandla, how are you, my dear sister?
Hello, Doc. It's very nice. It's so nice to be back. One has been off for a while, and we thank God. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy when we talk to the youth. We are talking to the future of our country, of our continent of Africa. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear from our beautiful, beautiful guest today, Muhluri na Xilombe. There's a lot that we're going to learn. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for today is writing our own stories, own ways. The two guests that we have today, they are young, vibrant, but they did something wonderful. Actually, they wrote books. Xilombe wrote a book. Muhluri wrote even 3 books. So we're going to be engaging with them just to hear their stories, why they decided to write their books and how they can actually inspire other people. Let us welcome them to the African Experience tonight. Let me start with Muhluri. Muhluri, Sambo, just say hello to our listeners.
Hello. The name is Muhluri Sambo, the son of Mkhatshani Elias Sambo, who is the son of Kokwan Tlandleka. So right now, my name is Muhluri Sambo, and I am the award-winning author of 3 books, namely Infinite Teen, Rethinking Black Consciousness, and Infinite Life. I greet you all, and firstly, I'd like to say happy birthday to my father, the most amazing mentor in my life. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Happy birthday to your dad. Oh, I love how you introduce yourself. You don't forget where you come from, your roots. He's talking about, his dad and the grandparents there. Thank you so much for gracing our show tonight. Let us also welcome all the way from Germany. We welcome Juliana Xilombe Hagmann. Please say hello to the listeners tonight.
Absheni Vanlosi, good evening. It's me, Juliana Xilombe Hagmann, half South African, half German, but currently living in Germany. But I'm so happy to be here, and I'm super excited for the conversations we're going to have here. So, hi.
Thank you so much. Oh, I love that Absheni Vanlosi. Mandla, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I cannot wait for you, and I don't think we should waste any more time. So we are going to go into it. Guys, introduce yourselves and tell us something great about you and why we are talking to you today. Let's start with you, Muhluri.
So something great about me, or rather, as I mentioned, I'm an author of 3 award-winning books, and I am 21. I think that's the most amazing thing to begin with. And then I am currently doing my 3rd year at the University of Johannesburg, studying Bachelor of Arts in Humanities, and the major is Development Studies. So the amazing thing about me is my drive, my ambition, and, challenging myself to become the best version of myself as a young person, coming from a village in the Jamandeni village and participating in literacy programs by building indoor libraries, and so many other things. So I'm just a young person who's full of energy, passion, and ambition, and I love to challenge myself. I motivate. I also do public speaking, and I've also been abroad participating in Model United Nations programs last year in Turkey and also in the United Arab Emirates in the well-known city Dubai. So there's just a lot I can say about myself. But then,
Yeah.
I just cannot wait to just get into it and, yeah, interact with everyone. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm very, very excited. I can imagine. I'm just writing. I have actually my notebook here. You are 21 to start with, and you are doing third year university, and you have already published 3 books, and you have traveled the world. I'm like, wow, 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 wow. I'm actually trying to imagine what I was doing when I was 21. And one of the questions that is coming to my mind, where do you get all the time? I mean, everybody has got 24 hours a day. It seems as if you've got, I don't know, 36 hours, but we'll get to know more about that. Juliana, over to you. Who is Juliana Xilombe Hagmann?
So Juliana Xilombe Hagmann is, as I said, half German, half South African, but I grew up in South Africa, I grew up in Pretoria. And as just like Muhluri, I've also published 1 book. Don't worry, I'm getting there, Muhluri. I'll come and overtake you as well. But yeah, so I moved to Germany a year ago for my studies. I'm currently studying social and cultural anthropology and African studies, and I'm in my first year still. But yeah, Juliana Xilombe Hagmann is definitely a very colorful and energetic and vibrant person as well. And I also just love anything and everything. Like I love doing a bunch of different things and also just engaging in also societal problems and also issues and stuff. And I think it's very important to raise awareness for such, and especially now that I'm also in the West, in Europe and everything, I make it my goal to definitely also raise awareness about issues and also just the pride of the African continent in order to change the perspective that people have here, or the stereotypes. So I'm all about defining that.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
You're 19 years old. Mandla, I don't know, my sister. I'm listening to these youngsters, and we are celebrating already, Youth Month. We know that the 16th of June is really the Youth Month, Youth Day, but we will be celebrating, and this is the first week into June, and we are already talking to very vibrant young people. Oh, I can see, is it Ailens Vuma, who is saying, good evening, family. Thank you so much for joining. We are really talking to 2 young, vibrant, energetic, I don't know where they get the energy from, 2 young people who have already published books. They've traveled the world, and they have so much energy, and they have a lot to share. Okay, Muhluri, maybe let me start with you, because you said you publish 3 books, and I would like you to slow down. I know you're speaking very fast. Some people might not be able to hear. So I want you to take 1 book at a time. Maybe the first book that you published, you actually show us and you tell us about the title and what was the inspiration behind it, and we'll take it one by one. Let's take the first book that you publish, and you share a little bit about it.
All right, that has been noted. I'll try and speak slow. As a public speaker, I'm used to communicating very fast. So this is Infinite Team.
Okay, Infinite Team.
Infinite Team, which I wrote in the year 2019. Yes, I published the year 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite.
And how old were you at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite. Oh, my apologies. There was a bit of network issues. At the time, I was 8 years. I was 18. Okay. and my matric.
Oh, okay, good.
So
Yes.
Infinite Teen is a self-help book that empowers young people to live beyond boundaries. It, being born in South Africa and as a black child, and more especially in the village, you get to realize that a lot of young people are born with a lot of limitations. Now, these limitations are not the kind they pursue themselves. It's limitations they are born with. Others, they pursue their limitations, unfortunately, due to factors like teenage pregnancies and many other negative social ills. However, my argument is that despite all these self-imposed and all these limitations which one is born with, it is our duty to, how can I put it? It is our duty to liberate ourselves. So I discuss this in using the 5 health factors: the mental health, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social. I argue that these are the health factors that make up a human being. For example, social health. The people who are around you impact you, and they impact where you end up in life. Hence the quote, if you surround yourself with 4 chickens, you're going to become the 5th one. If you surround yourself with 4 eagles, you're going to become the 5th one. So it is basically teaches one how to incorporate all these health factors to become successful despite your background and limitations.
Wow. Wow.
And then my second is rethinking black consciousness.
Okay.
So this one was published last year in September. Rethinking Black Consciousness is a socio-political book that argues that we as young people, or rather we as Africans, we are not free, as we often discuss. We have achieved political freedom, but we have not achieved economic freedom. The factors that contribute towards the maintenance of our oppression are the following instruments: media oppression, educational oppression, religious oppression, political oppression, and alcohol oppression, right? So, for example, I argue factors like, within the religious aspect, now we have a mass indoctrination of, rather, I'll use Christianity, my spirituality, of Christianity. So you find young people starting churches everywhere out of hunger. Unemployment is so high that young people are, you know, um, how can I? They are plotting tents on every corner. So you go on every black community, you'll notice that on every corner there's a church, but no business, right? Or the only business is a bottle store. Alternatively, go to Muslim communities and you'll find that on every corner it's business, and in the middle it's a mosque. So these are some of the things that we as Africans need to really work on, because if this is the pattern that we're gonna go to, of like young people starting churches on every corner, unlicensed.
I'm losing you a bit there. Muhluri, I'm losing you a bit there. Okay, I think there is a network connection. Oh my God, I'm just listening to what Muhluri is saying. I feel challenged already. I mean, I don't know where I was when I was 18. At 18, he's doing metric. He published a book, and then 2 years later, he published another one. And now he published the third one. And I'm asking myself, where does he get the time? Because we all have, the same time. And I just love, the titles of his book, and, the thinking around, some of the things that he's actually saying. I know load shedding is so jealous, but, he will come back and really share more about even the third book. Wow, wow, wow. Jolene Mangani, thank you so much for joining. We are spending time with two energetic and vibrant young youth, let me put it that way, who are really using their time to their advantage, but really using their time to write, the stories their own way. Thank you so much. I can see you saying, good evening to the African Experience family. Thank you so much for actually joining us. Okay. I see we have a lot of people who want to ask questions already, but before we actually do that, I know, Juliana, we will also give you an opportunity to talk about your book. But before we do that, we're going to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to listen to Juliana's book, and we're going to listen to Muhluri again so that he continues to share with us, some of, the second book, because he was still finishing that, and his third book. And we're going to learn a little bit more about the inspiration around, what they are doing. For now, we're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go away, because we are experiencing, our Africa, our own way. Thank you so much, and we'll see you shortly. Wow, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya. I'm not alone tonight. This is the African Experience. We are talking about writing own stories, own way. And we are graced by two young, energetic, youths. On one hand, we have Muhluri Sambo. On the other hand, we have, Juliana Xilombe Hagmann. Before the break, Muhluri was sharing with us, his books, but now we're going to take Juliana so that she can actually share a little bit about the book that she published. Juliana, over to you.
Screen reader enabled. Facebook. Screen locked. Vibration stop. 1817.
Okay.
Screen reader disabled.
Okay, Juliana, go ahead.
Yeah, so the book that I published it last year, so also when I was 18. And basically it's called Best of Both, which is somewhat an autobiography. And in this book, I'm basically describing some of my experiences growing up as a mixed race child in modern day South Africa, and how I kind of perceive the different cultures, my different cultures. On the one side, my Black Tsonga culture, and on the other side, my white German culture. And in the book, it's a collection of my experiences and how the kind of thoughts and things that I would experience and that would be going on inside of me, kind of trying to navigate between the different cultures, but also kind of having this thing of not fitting in anywhere, but also at the same time trying to fit in everywhere, because one would also have these personal relations to both sides. And and so that's just basically what I explored during that time. And yeah.
Okay, so what I find fascinating is that Muhluri published, his book when he was doing matric and he was 18. You also published your book when you were 18 and doing matric. How do you do that? Where do you get the time and the inspiration to study for your matric, which is a very challenging year, but on the other hand, you also were able to actually publish a book. Juliana, just share a little bit, how did it come about? Don't you have the same, 24 hours that every other young person out there has? What was the inspiration behind it?
Well, we all do have the same 24 hours, but it's all just a matter of what one spends time on, because even though we were at school most of the time and then at home we also had to study, there are also, it's not like we were studying 24/7 of every single day. For me personally, I felt it was very important for me to write, because it has always been a form of expression for me. It has always been like a kind of outlet. And so in the course between. So it took me quite a while actually to just finish writing this, because I did not start writing with the idea that it would be a book at the end, but rather the idea of just trying to process the different things that I was experiencing and the different thoughts that I was having. So it actually took me, the writing of the book happened over a course of 3 years, from the ages 15 to 18. And just every now and then, it was that on my end, it was not consistent. It was just every now and then when something would come up, I would just find it really important to write it down and kind of grab that thought and like not let it get lost, but make it very fresh and just kind of hold on to it. And so towards the end, when I was 18 or so, or just before I turned 18, I felt the need to actually combine all of these and just make it into a book. So there's a thing of, I wasn't working on the book full time, and that's why it is also easier to like navigate while also doing school and being in your final school year.
Okay, wow, this is very important. I think what I'm learning here is that, the importance of actually writing down the thoughts. I know we Africans, we are being criticized for not writing. We are more of an oral society, but we don't write. But what I'm learning from what we are saying, it's very important to actually, write that. Okay, let me go back, to Muhluri. Muhluri, before we went for the break, you were still bragging and actually sharing with us about, part of the second book, but I also want to hear about your third book. Yeah, Muhluri, over.
All right, so I'll keep it short. So this is my third baby. So Infinite Life, Young, Single and Free is a book I just completed this year, and I released it last month. It's a book about singleness. So there's an issue within the Black community. We're often told to play around, but we are never told to invest in the stage of singleness. So I just believe that from the age of 15, a young person should start observing singleness in order to start questioning who they are, what their purpose is, and what it is that they would love to really give to the world. So during the stage of singleness, one has a lot of time, number one, and this is the time whereby we should be investing in ourselves and developing ourselves to become the best of our.
I don't know, Muhluri. I somehow losing you. I'm actually losing you. Okay, you can hear me, no? Okay, I don't know. Sometimes I'm losing you. Try to speak again.
All right. Am I audible?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right. My apologies for that. So
Yes.
we come from a society rather of brokenness. A lot of our parents were not raised by present parents due to apartheid and the conditions that took place, right? So now we have an issue whereby a lot of young people or our parents didn't really grow up with what we know as emotional love. They were never affirmed, validated, or even approved of. So now they are raising us, the generation after them, without those skills. Most of them, when they raise us, they just would love to raise us to live a much better life than they lived, right? But they do not have the skill set to raise us in a way that validates or even improves us emotionally. Hence you find that we have a lot of issues of GBVs and so much, because as young Black people, we do not have what is called emotional intelligence, or rather the skill to express ourselves in a healthy way. So Infinite Life digs deep into young people to say, use the season of singleness to heal yourself from all the generational curses, from the generational wounds that were caused by the systems. Use this opportunity to find who you are, to learn who you are, to find your purpose and mission, to develop self-love. And before one jumps into the ocean of dating, because jumping will lead you to drowning, it's very important to date yourself first. Understand who you are, love yourself, and develop a healthy self-esteem. Because what a lot of people are trying to do by saying they want the one or whatever is that whilst they are not complete or even, how can I put it, fulfilled with themselves is to expect someone else out there to love someone that they do not fully love, they do not fully appreciate, or they do not fully know. So that's what Infinite Life Young Single and Free is all about.
Wow, 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 wow. I wish, all the young people in South Africa were actually listening, because this is the book that was written by a young person, and it speaks to them. And I think later on we will talk a little bit about how to get hold of the books and all that. I can see we have our listeners there who are talking to us. We have Masenyane Mangani, who's saying, "Good evening. This young man is quite amazing. Keep going, never stop. Go Muhluri, go." Wow, you have, definitely have, somebody who's behind you there. We also have Rulani Baloy who say, "Juliana, ooh, the book seems to be interesting. How do we get a copy? We are inspired by both you publishing books at a young age." Surely we have, different people who are listening, and they are very getting inspired by, what you have to share. Okay, maybe let me go back to Juliana. Juliana, I know other than, being an author, you also into music. We always say the name follows you. Your middle name is Xilombe, but you're also into music. Tell us a little bit about, that, your passion for music.
Yeah, right. So as you already mentioned, my second name is Xilombe, which is Xitsonga and means someone who sings well. And basically the reason behind this name is because I come from a very musical family, and my mother loved music so much that she even decided to name her first child something musical. And indeed, I guess I have followed into the footsteps of my name, I guess. But yes, I have a huge passion for music. It is also, along with writing and dancing, it is one of my outlets, one of my forms of expression. And I play three different instruments. I play the piano, the bass guitar, and the acoustic guitar. And I also really enjoy singing. And I started composing music when I was 7 years old and continue to do so. But it has always just been something that I feel very passionate about, and something that really helps me to just de-stress and just calm down. Just it's always been my outlet, and I wouldn't know what to do if I did not have music in my life.
Wow. Okay. So what I'm learning from you is that, when you have an outlet, I mean, we know as young people, also adults, we also have, challenges. So when you have challenges, it's either your outlet is writing or you are playing music. Is that correct?
Exactly, yes. I
Okay.
have always tended to those have always been kind of my coping mechanisms as well. It's always been
Okay.
there's something always creative, either writing or music, but also dancing or even doing art. These have always just been forms of outlets for me.
Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Mandla, are you there, my sister? Do you hear what I'm actually hearing?
Sure. I am so here and I cannot believe the stories that I'm hearing from the youngsters. I am so inspired. As I look and I follow their stories, I can see here Muhluri, but you have opened a library in your village. Please tell us about that. That's quite interesting for me.
Currently, it's still a mini library. So my aim is to what I've been doing is basically collecting books and making donation drives. I've noticed that in most villages or many disadvantaged communities, there's a gap with literacy equipment. So with these books, I want to empower them to have resources which have modern knowledge and which have knowledge, or rather skill sets which can equip them for the world today, because the world is rapidly changing and rapidly moving, and at this rate people from disadvantaged communities are not really equipped, right? Like the rest of the people in the world. So I'm trying to challenge this gap by donating books and making young people access literacy or reading in order for them to become equipped and competent in the world today.
That
Mm,
is.
mm. That is so interesting indeed. So I'm sure towards the end you will share with people, our listeners, Kuri, if they want to donate some of their books and they want to contribute to the library, how they can go about doing that, right?
Yes.
Wow, 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 Mandla. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, wow, wow. And I feel challenged as well because I'm looking back at my life at 21. What is that I was doing then? It's really, really challenging. Wow. And I see also some of our listeners here. I see Shitsunzu Shovuma saying, these young people are doing great things. And she actually puts, something there. And we also have, Priscilla Shiluvan who's saying, yo, date yourself, first love yourself, first love. Wow. So I think she's reacting to your book where you were saying about embracing singleness and stuff. We also see Sesi Danisa Wakakosa. She's saying, good evening, family. I missed the introduction. Where is Muhluri? Muhluri is here. Is here. Is here. Is here. We have Muhluri here. We also have Xilombe. We're gonna take another short commercial break. As Danisa, don't go away. When we come back, you'll still listen to Muhluri and Xilombe. They have a lot, to share with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a very short commercial break. Don't go away because we still have a lot to hear from these two youngsters. They're gonna share with us some of the things that they are doing now, and and the traveling, and how they want to inspire young people in South Africa and beyond. Stay tuned. Don't. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the African Experience at the Bold Move Radio. We are today talking to two young people who are so inspiring. These are award-winning authors. We have Xilombe Hagmann. She authored a book at age 18. And we also have Muhluri, who is now 21 and he has already written 3 books. Also, his first book, he was still 18. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is so inspiring. Muhluri and Juliana, yes, welcome back. We want to hear more about, your stories. Maybe I'm going to start, with Juliana. Juliana, you said at the moment you are studying in Germany. What are you studying? What are you studying, and why the choice of studies that you have selected?
Yes, exactly. So I'm currently studying in Germany. I started studying here in September, and I am currently studying social and cultural anthropology as well as African studies. It's a double major. And the reason why I decided to study this is because having grown up also like with multiple cultures, I felt like that tends to be my calling in that sense that in many cases I felt I was oftentimes able to connect different cultures because I had these personal relations to multiple and kind of grew up having more than one and very contrasting cultures as well. And so I decided that anthropology would be a good foundation in that sense for me, because I can in future imagine myself doing something along the lines of intercultural communication and intercultural management, being a facilitator in that kind of space. So I thought that as a foundation in the bachelor stage, social and cultural anthropology would be a good thing to just kind of get a feel for what culture actually means, what are social dynamics of culture, and so on and so forth. And for me, obviously, having grown up in South Africa, the most interesting part for myself is the African continent. So because that's also where I see myself in future wanting to have an impact, because it's my home and these are my livelihoods.
Okay, and I know I had that, in as part of your African studies, you also learn Kiswahili.
Yes, exactly. So there's a number of languages which are offered here at the University of Cologne in Germany, and I decided to choose Kiswahili. If I would, I would have definitely taken Tsonga, of course, just to perfect my Tsonga a bit more. But unfortunately, there's not that big of a range of options.
Okay, wow, wow, wow. That is very interesting. It's very interesting to see that, even when you are abroad, you still, value your culture and you still want to learn about, Africa and all that. And I think this is what, this show is all about. It's about African experience. How do we experience Africa as African and actually writing it our own way? Okay, let me go back, to Muhluri. I know Sister Danisa wanted to see and hear, Muhluri, it's here. Muhluri, maybe just come back. You spoke a little bit about, the library that you're starting, but beyond the library, you are also a businessman. We are following you on social media. You are an investor in livestock. Did I get it correctly?
Definitely, yes, you did get it correctly. And I'd like to also greet Man Danisa and say I value acknowledgement, and also a segment I'd love to learn Kiswahili to become, an African powerhouse too. I am a businessman. I'm a livestock investor. So what I often do is that, or what I've come to learn, is that the problem that we have in Africa, or even South Africa to be specific, is that a lot of people are employed, but they do not rechannel their investments. So it's not really about how much a person makes, but how much they keep. So our educational system does not have financial literacy, and that is a major setback. Hence you find that a lot of celebrities, when they pass on, we have to donate for them to get buried. A lot of people, whenever they retire, there's really nothing much to show for, instead of like except for helping empower their children to study. So these are some of the challenges that need to be changed within Africa. So what I did is, every income that I started making from my books and public speaking, I then rechanneled it to my investments of livestock. So I come from a family where, like, in the village, it's all about livestock, right? My grandparents loved livestock, my parents love livestock. So I then said, what better investment to start with than the one that's already been there? So all the incomes that I make, I rechannel them to livestock, because what that does is, instead of the money coming in, or rather me wasting it, with the livestock living back home and giving birth and multiplying, I'm now multiplying the seeds I've planted with writing and speaking. And with that, I'm now creating wealth and generational wealth for my future and for the family lineage.
I see. I see. Wow, wow, wow. I how I wish we had, that kind of education when I was 21 back then. Because what I'm learning from you is that you are very young. I mean, you started already writing at 15 and all that and published. But at 21, you are still a student. You are already thinking about investing. Young people out there, if they get a little bit of money, it could go to, other things and all that. But we are already starting, to think about investment so that you can actually break, the generational, to create that generational wealth for your future. Wow, 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 Muhluri. There's something that we always say that there's something in the name. Your name, it's Muhluri, which means a conqueror.
Conqueror.
Yes, and I see that you are already conquering, so many things already. You conquering, that whole thing of saying the Africans don't write. You say, no, 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 I'm going to write. And now you want to conquer, that whole issue of saying, Africans don't have no generational wealth. And we are beginning to do that. Wow, this is a very, very inspiring story. We are very happy to be with you here. I see, there are some some more, notes that I can read here. Tunzu Vuma saying Julie is flying that African flag high, yo, and she's putting, some things up. And there is somebody called Umlungu, I don't know, and he's saying, Juliana, you are such an inspiration. I can see many great things in your future and great things from you. Keep it up. Wow, you can see we have a lot of listeners. Oh, we also have Hwadi Mulepo who's saying Muhluri Sambo. So we have people who are really really vouching for you here, and they want to know more and they want to support you to make sure that they see you succeeding. Wow. I know there is a bit of a technical glitch because I cannot see you anymore, but I can hear your voices loud and clear. Okay, maybe let me go back to Juliana. It's like both of you have got, this energy. It's amazing. Juliana, you are doing first year at the university, but other than that, you are also working as well. Tell us a little bit more about, that side hustle that you are doing while you are doing your first year university.
Gladly. But firstly, I'd also just love to say, I'm Muhluri for president. Can I just say, wow, no, I take my hat off for you. Wow. What an inspiration. But yes, next to working, next to studying, I've also recently started a job as a research assistant for one of my professors. And she works a lot with different issues around migration, especially from in Cameroon, migration from Cameroon to the Gulf states, but also has a bunch of different kinds of projects. And basically, I'm just helping and supporting her in whatever way I can. But I've also been assigned a task so basically she's a part of a bigger research project, and they've assigned me and a coworker a task to kind of translate their research, which they're doing, into a podcast in order to make it accessible to the general audience, because we all know that when academics, they produce their knowledge and so on, it stays on a very academic kind of English and German and whatever, which is like not accessible or not even that exciting to read for the general public. So it's our duty to kind of make it more accessible.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is very inspiring. I mean, you guys have so much energy. It feels like you are not able to do one thing. You want to do one thing and you want to do the side hustle. It's very, very interesting, to hear. Mandla, what are your thoughts, my sister out there? Mandla, are you still there? Okay, so I'll keep, reading. I see Tunzu Vuma, she's listening. She's saying Muhluri is really out. Okay, Muhluri is really out here challenging us young people, hey? Yes, Muhluri, there are already young people who are listening who feels very challenged. Because if you can do it and you have, the same amount of, hours like everyone else, if you can do it, why can they not? I can see from here, we might hear a lot of, young people calling you, wanting to be inspired a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to take another short commercial break. When we come back, then we want to see, I think, I'm stalking you. So we went through your social media. I harvested, some pictures. So when we come back, We're going to show some pictures. I don't know. You probably don't know what pictures I have. We're going to show some pictures of you, and you have to tell us what you are doing. And you're going to also tell us what kind of key messages you have for young people in South Africa and beyond as we are celebrating the Youth Month. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Stay tuned. Don't go away, because we are still having a lot to learn from these two youngsters. Let's take a short commercial.
Are you ready for the ultimate dietary powerhouse? Look no further than Masana Dietitian's Nutro Boost. Our scientifically formulated low GI food is designed to give you the boost you need to fuel your body and reach your health goals. With NutriBoost, you have the flexibility to enjoy it as a high-fiber cereal or a satisfying shake. Simply mix it with water and indulge in the mouth-watering flavors that we have to offer. But that's not all. NutriBoost is packed with essential nutrients that are beneficial for your overall well-being. Enriched with 20 immune-boosting vitamins and minerals, it's a convenient and effective way to support your immune system. And here's the best part. NutriBoost is gluten-free, egg-free, and high in omega-3, making it suitable for those with dietary restrictions or allergies. Need an energy boost? NutriBoost has you covered. It's high in energy and protein, providing you with the fuel you need to power through your day. Whether it's a busy morning or an intense workout session, say goodbye to midday slumps and hello to sustained energy with NutriBoost. Try it today and experience the difference. For orders or to become a distributor, contact us on the following details.
Welcome back, welcome back. It's very funny here. Every time when we are having a good time and we are enjoying ourselves, the time is flying. It's flying. We are with me, Dr. Shami Ngweja. I'm not alone. I'm with my co-host, Mandla Mabunda. This is the African experience. Aventina, Mandla Mabunda. This has been very exciting. What are your thoughts? I mean, now we're going to show some pictures. We want to see what, these young stars are up to. I've been stalking them, but wow. It's very, very exciting to see what they are doing with their lives. Mandla?
Indeed, doctor. You know what? When someone is speechless, they're talking about me, because really these youngsters are showing us that they are indeed leaders of tomorrow, and I cannot wait. I think let's get right to it, because we have a few minutes left. Let's go through the pictures, and they chat to us through the pictures.
Okay, so let's see. We have been stalking them. DJ Messi, let's see. Okay. Juliana, can you see the picture?
Yes, I can.
Basically, yes, what was happening there?
This was just 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago, on the 25th of May, which is Africa Day. And on any African day, or also South African Day, such as South African Heritage Day, even though I am not at home anymore, I'm here in Germany, I make it my goal to go out onto the streets wearing anything South African. So in this case, my shibelani, and a bag with the South African flag and South African jewelry, just to go around, that even if I know that most people there don't know what I'm doing or why I'm clothed like this or dressed like this, it is just my form of still representing the country I come from, and also an opportunity for anyone who does want to ask, to educate them or to just raise awareness and kind of just raise the African flag high also in Germany.
So you took your shibelani with you to Germany?
I did. There was no way I was going there without.
Okay. And here?
Oh, wow, that's so amazing. Tell us something. Do they ask you, how often do you get asked about your shibelani and where you're from?
Well, with the Shibelani, it's funny because the German culture is a bit different. They tend to not necessarily approach people on the street or depending where you are, but because they're just not used to speaking to strangers. But I have my goal is always to like push them to their limits and to a point where they have no choice but to ask, just to make them that curious, so that I have an opportunity to like inform them and also just change their narrative about Africa. Because even though things might seem like it's very progressive here and everything, there's still a very narrow vision on the African continent, and my goal is all about changing that and defying that.
Wow, wow, wow.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So let us see some pictures from Muhluri. Okay, while some pictures are coming, I see it says Danisa Wakakosa. Oh, okay, so there is a picture there. Muhluri, where were you there?
Oh yeah, I was in Dubai. So
Okay.
it was the Model United Nations in Dubai, and yeah, so this was the last day, the cultural experience, where we had to express our cultures with all the people from all over the world, from Asia, Europe, Africa, anywhere you can actually imagine. So I just came there, and as you can see, my shirt has the jacket design. So I just said I'm just gonna go there and show them Kuri Nimtsonga from South Africa and express who I am.
Ooh, I just love, this pride of being Tsongas, Bwa Mutsonga wa Shiviri. I can see says Danisa Wakakosa saying, yo, this generation is something, ne? Ooh, futhi nehaba no Muhluri and Xilombe. You have your stars at hands. Keep on keeping on. Okay, Muhluri, there's another picture as well, some more pictures. Where were you there?
Yeah, I was in Turkey, and I was giving a speech in representation of, so the country I had received for my debate was Tunisia, and I was addressing, the position that we had taken in one of the international conflict debates that we were taking. So yes, I was just, challenging some of the international people with some African spice.
Wow, wow, wow. I understand why Shivono is, I mean, Xilombe is saying, Muhluri for president. Man, sister, listen, I'm like, Mandla, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. You know what this is? This is, I so wish, like you initially said, I so wish a lot of youth in South Africa could sit down for a day or two and actually listen to their peers, because when you are sitting at home as a youth, I'm sure they think that, what, it's not doable, it's beyond my reach. But here are our kids from our local villages, and they're taking us to the world, basically. I mean, look at the exposure that Muhluri is talking about, and he's talking with such confidence. And Shilombe as well. I like their daring nature. Someone says, I want to show the world that we have spice, or I want to add spice to what they think. And the other one says, I want to change their narrative. It's really, really beautiful. So if there's more pictures, please, 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 let's see them and let's get inspired even more.
Yeah, and while we are still waiting for more pictures, I can see Biggie Boy Monster saying, "My man, proud of you, Mfana." Yeah, and he's putting, some love there. We also have, Sylvia Maraba saying, "Thank you for motivating us." Wow, wow, wow. We are also motivated as adults. I feel motivated, and I'm like, oh, if the young people can do that. And I just love the way they also bring their Tsonganess, with them. Muhluri, did you say you are coming from, Gijamanzeni village?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's a young person out there in one of those the deep rural areas, villages, who think there's no opportunity for me, what can you say to that young person as somebody who's coming from a village, Gijamanzin? I think, I mean, many people will say, Gijamanzin, where is it? And here you are raising the flag of, South Africa. You are representing us. You are so articulate. What can you say to that young person from the villages?
One thing I can say is I truly understand the concern. It's not easy. So I'm not gonna lie on public platform and say it's doable and you just have to be positive. It's very difficult. I understand that. The one thing is to succeed in life is not really about your environment or your external factors. It's about you, right? So there are people who are bridges, for example, like me and the likes of Pastor Strike and so many other influencers out there who are becoming a bridge because we cannot really rely on the government to do our job in its entirety because of the struggles that they're having. So I'm a bridge to all the young people who would love to elevate through speaking, writing, and many others are also doing that, and many organizations too. So it's not really about your environment. And like the story of the eagle who lived as a chicken, you may grow right in an environment of chickens, but that does not mean that's where you are destined to end up. You may not choose the beginning or where you were born, but where you end up in life, that's entirely your choice. And it's all about believing in yourself, having faith in that dream. Irregardless of how difficult it is, I would challenge every young person to really give it a shot, because if you do not try and attempt, you will never know where you might have ended up.
I can see. Xilombe, what is your message, key message, for young people out there?
I will add on to Muhluri by saying that I think the key thing that I could say is also, if one has an idea or a certain idea or thought or just some kind of concept, like one should never shy away from actually just going for it. Like one has to have that enough like conviction in one's own idea to also be bold and to dare to be the only one in a certain space doing something. And I think that it's just all that was a thing of staying true to what you believe in, and then really like going at full power through with it, and like no matter what the odds are, no matter what the people say, and so on. So I think it's all just about like finding yourself, and then also just staying true to what you believe is yourself, and then running with that.
Mandla, we only have 3 minutes to go. Let me just give it to you to give the roundup and all that. I'm so amazed. I mean, it's really, really amazing to listen to these young people.
Sure, this was a beautiful show already. Thank you to Muhluri. Thank you to Xilombe. You have taught us a lot. And, coming back to what Muhluri has said, our parents, due to apartheid, but clearly there's something that was great that happened with you, even with your parents' background, yeah, apartheid. So you know what, and I also like what you also added when you said it doesn't matter where you're coming from, it's all about you. So I hope out there, the youth of South Africa, the youth of Africa have been inspired. And Xilombe, with your singing and Germany and changing those narratives around Africa and what we represent, it's really beautiful to hear it coming from you guys. So, Doc, what a way of ushering us into the Youth Month. Mina personally, I'm inspired, and I hope someone somewhere, Kama shops in the deep rurals of Diakwi is inspired, and they will make a difference. Over to you, Doc.
Yes. Okay. Maybe before we go, if people want to get hold of you, people were asking about your books. How do they actually get hold of you? Muhluri, let me start with you. Where can people find you?
So they can use my WhatsApp business number, which is 067 127 9474. And I'd like to repeat it. I don't know if maybe it can be.
Yeah, just say it. We'll try to post it as well. Okay, I think we have lost that, but I think we'll come back. We'll definitely find it and post it. Juliana, where can people find you?
My book is available on Amazon as an ebook, as an e-Kindle book, but otherwise one could also contact me on Instagram at Julie's Niche in the DMs, and then there's a certain amount of copies that can also be sold.
Okay, we'll definitely, actually share that. Thank you so much. I can see Pastor Jolene saying thank you to Muhluri and Xilombe. You are an inspiration. Thank you so much. We have come to the end of the show, and I would like to say thank you to DJ Messi, our technical, producer. We also thank, Pastor Strike and the whole technical team. Thank you to our listeners, and thank you to our beautiful guest. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa.